Hey y'all, thank you so much for joining. I'm Joe Peterson. I am the CIO of Clarify 360 and the Chief Analyst at ClearTech Research. I am here, guess where? I'm live in New York at AWS Summit New York, and I'm with Himanshu Verma. Hi, Himanshu.
Hi, Joe.
In case you don't know him and you're not following him and you're into security like you should be, because Himanshu is the worldwide leader for security, identity, and governance specialist here at AWS.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. We're live from New York at the New York Summit. Thanks for having me and look forward to the conversation.
Yeah, so we're talking identity. And at the summit this year, in the area of security and identity, the major themes I'm hearing about are AI-powered defense, centralized identity risk management, and global operational resilience. So let's dig in. We're going to do the 3-question format like we normally do. So let's take a minute and talk about a couple things around Security Hub identity alerts. How are we enhancing the customer experience right now with things like IAM Access Analyzer?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very relevant topic, especially now in the AI and the Agentic era. Identity has been at the foundation of all things security. In December of last year, we improved the AWS Security Hub experience for our customers, where now Security Hub is able to collect findings from multiple different detection tools, such as threat detection, vulnerabilities, misconfigurations, and also network and identity findings. These findings are now all correlated in the form of what we call exposures, which then include traits that help identify risk easily for customers. Not only does it correlate, but it also presents to customers in a visual path of where and how an incident or these traits might be interconnected. So for example, like if there's a finding for a certain vulnerability, whether or not network reachability plays a trait in it, and or if there's a finding for data exfiltration, whether or not sensitive data or PII or private data plays a role in it. Similarly, what customers have been asking for is that where we do have IAM Access Analyzer that uses technologies like automated reasoning to provide customers rich information on unused IAM access keys, and or where they need to go and rotate these keys, or where there's dormant resources where the keys might still be associated with. Those findings can also now be integrated automatically in these exposures and traits. And just a month ago, we actually made it fully automated, such that you can look at any IAM-related findings or privilege escalation-related findings, and then have them part of that exposures. So this then gives customers a full view of where to go take an action on and how to mitigate any of these IAM-related findings.
That's really important because nobody really wants to deal with the rotation and the unused access. We forget about it.
Right.
We get busy and we forget.
And just to build on that, all the findings in Security Hub now are in an open source format, normalized in OCSF, Open Cybersecurity Schema Framework. So that allows customers to actually leverage that data and act on that on their own as well, if they want to. And we didn't stop there. So we also further added capabilities in Security Hub in the form of AWS Security Hub Extended for adding use cases and our partner tools with a very prescriptive view of what are those partners, currently 21 and growing, and use cases of how we can bring in findings from other tools as well, whether it's things like endpoint security, whether it's browser security, etc. So now customers can similarly how they use AWS Security Hub in one-click monthly pay-as-you-go fashion, can also leverage these partner tools that are integrated. And the findings from these partner tools will also become part of those exposures.
That's so important because if you ask some people, they say browser's the new edge. So don't know. So we're going to move on and talk about multi-region resilience because this is a really hot topic for global enterprise security leaders. And there's been some advancements in Cognito. Do you want to tell us about those?
Yeah, both Amazon Cognito, which is helping customers leverage machine identities, and now with AI and agentic development, that's another key aspect that we're seeing customers leverage Cognito. And then the workforce identities, which is Identity Center, have been continuing to grow, with our customers and helping them build applications around that. One of the key asks from customers has been multi-region replication and increasing the resiliency as well as disaster recovery around these services. So now with multi-region replication, customers can actually make sure that user pools and or IAM access keys, etc., are replicated in a secondary region of their choice. Customers get to make the deliberate choice of their region selection based on data sovereignty and or regulatory compliance needs. And then with that, automatically the failover region picks up and continues to make sure that these applications work seamlessly.
And I'm glad you touched on that, because it's really important to know that customers get to pick their primary and their secondary region. So if there's a sovereign area that doesn't matter in the world to them, they don't have to go there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then from a privacy standpoint, we've given the ability to use KMS, customer managed keys, that customers can use same way they use it for their other workloads as well. They can extend that to the secondary region and encrypt that information and data as well.
That's really important. All right, moving on. Last topic, because we always pick three. What would a conference be in tech right now if we didn't talk about AI security? Yeah, it wouldn't be anything, right? So we're moving to this whole idea of shift left governance. How do new integrations like IAM policy, autopilot, and Terraform aware validations allow developers to automatically block those unsafe permissions inside CI/CD pipelines? Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, there's two things I would talk about there. The first one is how are we making it easier for our customers in that developer environment to ensure that they're making the right decisions for identity security, for instance, or IAM policies. So one of the open source tools that we made available is IAM policy autopilot. What that does is, in the form of an MCP server or a software development kit, can be used to now ensure that AI developers are not spending time in learning and orchestrating IAM policies. So as you build, let's say, an agent factory code base where agents are writing code, they're very good at propagating code, but not very good at understanding what all IAM permissions and policies need to be written. So this autopilot MCP server can be plugged into any one of the Agentic IDE development tools, which automatically helps customers start the right way. And I think this is very important, especially on the shift left scenario, to ensure that they're starting right and all the IAM permissions and policies are propagating the right way. So this is a very cool feature that's available for everybody and anybody to leverage. The second thing on the shift left I want to highlight is that we do have a very strong emphasis on ensuring that code vulnerabilities and code security is top of mind. At re:Invent, we announced a service called AWS Security Agent, which is a frontier AI agent that is available today that help customers ensure that code vulnerabilities can not only be detected at machine speed, but they can also act on them and leverage them and ensure that there's continuous pen testing that they can get as an outcome. Today at AWS Summit, we're evolving that further into not only machine speed detections using frontier AI models, but also response. AWS Continuum is an evolution that'll bring in multiple different facets of discovery, correlation, reasoning in customers' environments, and then using that information to do code vulnerability detection as well as response and remediation. So this is an area where we will continue to invest, and like you said, helping developers and moving security shift left is front and center when we talk about AI security.
So you're saying that AWS is getting it right, helping customers shift left. Is that what you're telling me?
We're helping customers secure their AI journey, yes.
You're so much fun. Thank you so much for making time. Thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.